I love talking about my different fandoms and favorite video games and movies and TV shows as much as the next person, but there are things happening right now in our country that need to be talked about. It's political, it's not good news, it's things that are uncomfortable to talk about but that need to be talked about and need to be brought attention to. People need to know and stay informed of what is going on. Below in my video description there is an ever-growing list of people, social media accounts, organizations, and websites that are standing up to the hatred and violence we are seeing by our quote-unquote President Trump. Check out any of the links and social media accounts that I have at the bottom of my description to stay informed and find out how you can help fight back. Just like Captain America said that it doesn't matter what the mobs or the politicians tells you. It doesn't matter if so many of them is saying something wrong is something right. And if they come to you saying that, telling you to move, it is your job to stand there and plant yourself beside the river of truth and say, no, you move. Hatred and ignorance and fear is not what makes our country great. Hey geeks, what's happening? Welcome to my channel. I'm Trey Guillotine, and today we are geeking out a little bit about quarantine. But before I go into today's topic, there is just one thing I want to ask you. What you gaming on? If you want your answer featured in an upcoming What You Gaming On segment, tell me the game you're playing, what you like about it, what you don't like about it, and your answer will be featured in an upcoming video. We're gonna go ahead and jump into what I've been gaming on, and I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Of course, there was the big announcement recently that the next Assassin's Creed game is going to be Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I am very excited for. I've always thought Norse mythology was really cool. I loved how it was portrayed in God of War, and it just made me all the more excited for just anything Norse and Vikings, except really the TV show. I wasn't that in love with it, but I think it's gonna be a really cool game. I do. I think because of the way Assassin's Creed does, where it's like historical science fiction, and it kind of brings a lot of the myths of those time periods kind of to life through, you know, the Animus and through the time the first civilization or whatever they're called, the Isu. They kind of make those myths into reality, into the historical science fiction of the game. So I'm very excited for it. But I wanted to go back and replay Odyssey because it'd been a minute since I'd played it, and I wanted the information on the story to be a little fresher in my mind. And I also just wanted to go back and play the DLC, which I've beaten the main Odyssey, which was very long, and one of the things that they said of Assassin's Creed Valhalla is that it wasn't going to be as long as Odyssey, which isn't saying much, considering how long that game is. Like, both Odyssey and Origins, which I thought were great games, they're just so goddamn long. That's what she said. But the other reason I was going through it was to play the DLCs, because I never went back and did the DLCs that they added for it, so I wanted to go in and finally beat those, see what the story is, just so that's all in my head whenever I do get into Valhalla, which I'm very excited about. So I still need to go back and beat the DLCs. I might take a break from it, though, and just come back and do the DLCs later. We'll see. It's not really important. But now I want to hear from you. So if you want your answer featured in an upcoming video, I just need to know the game you're playing, what you like about it, what you don't like about it, in the comments of this video or on any of my social media, and your answer will be featured in an upcoming video. So today we're geeking out a little bit about quarantine. And honestly, this video, obviously it's a different kind of video. Quarantine isn't exactly a geeky topic, but it is something that is going on for everyone. And honestly, this video is a lot more for me, just because the troubles with YouTube aside, I really do enjoy making the videos. I enjoy filming. I enjoy editing. I enjoy editing the music. It's a nice project to have, so this is actually more for me, for something to work on, because just like I know millions of other people are dealing with COVID-19 and with this quarantine, obviously, just like a lot of people, I'm in kind of a funk. I've had a lot of anxiety and depression about what is going on with this virus and just the uncertainty of what is going to happen, because right now I honestly don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I keep, because my brain is the way my brain is, I keep catastrophizing what is going to happen, which is just kind of left me in a bad place. But I'm working to be a little more positive about things, so I wanted to take a moment in a video to talk about some of the positive things that I've actually found with quarantine. I do want to say that this is really, like I said, this is just for me and my own experience with what is going on, what I've been dealing with, and I completely understand that whatever struggles I'm going through, I absolutely have the privilege to this not be the end of the world for me. I don't want to minimize anyone else's suffering of what they're going through, because the truth of the matter is things are not great. But for me, at least, working through my own issues, there are some things that I've actually found that I enjoy about this quarantine. Just a few of them. I'm not saying quarantine is awesome, but there are a few things I just kind of want to talk about. One of which, obviously, I am sitting outside. I've spent more time outside than I would usually. I've been working out outside 2 or 3 times a week. I've been going on hourly walks every hour, for 5 or 10 minutes, just to stretch my legs, give my eyes a rest from whatever it was I was playing or working on the computer or doing. So I've been outside a lot more. It's really nice. Thankfully, in completely anti-New Orleans fashion, we've had really good weather ever since this all started. We've had some really great weather. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. It's really nice. So that's a surprise. But I've been spending a lot more time outside, and I've enjoyed it. It's really nice. I hope that it's something that I will continue to do once everything goes back to normal, is just spend time outside, work out outside, go on walks every hour, every couple hours, just to stay a little more active, stay a little bit more outside. Another thing that I've really enjoyed is the fact that because I'm pretty much quarantined in my house the entire time, very rarely going out, maybe once a week for errands, I don't have to deal with as many assholes. Because obviously there are so many assholes out there in the world, especially New Orleans drivers, that I have to deal with whenever I do leave my house. Now that I'm basically just in my house all week, I don't have to deal with them, which is great. That in itself is an amazing thing. The just amount of people that I don't have to deal with. But on the flip side, I am an introvert, so I do tend to do better, having a lot of me time and a lot of downtime. But there are people, like my friends, who I really enjoy spending time with, which I haven't been able to spend time with them, and that's really sucked. But for the most part, I've been able to keep in contact with them, and I've just been able to be here doing my own thing, not dealing with a lot of people. Now, of course, there are people on the internet who are complete assholes, and that's not something someone like me who is so engaged in social media or tries to be engaged in social media is ever going to get rid of. So, that there's that, but just not having to deal with face-to-face assholes all the time is just a really great thing. And something else, and this is actually kind of a double-edged thing, I guess you would call it, is that for so long I've become so technology dependent on everything from my computer to my phone to my console to my Switch. Just the amount of technology I depend on day to day is kind of frightening now that I've been able to step back and think about it. And this quarantine has actually kind of made me feel like, I really don't want to be dependent on technology anymore. And it's not so much that it's not that I think technology is bad, because obviously it's not. There are so many great and amazing things we can do because of technology and the internet. But this quarantine has really showcased that you can only go so far with it, especially with trying to connect online with people, try to have Zoom calls. I feel like every Zoom call I have had, there's been 10 to 15 minutes of, oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? I can't hear you. I can't hear you now. Can you hear me? Let me try to turn off and on again. Okay, now I can't see you. Can you see me? What? Oh, no, we lost them. They got disconnected. Let's try to get them back into the meeting. Like, I hate it. God, do I hate it. And I don't want to do any more video calls on Zoom or Discord. I don't want to do it. Like, I just want to put that technology aside and not deal with it. And even things for like tabletop gaming. Something that that's another thing about quarantine I've really liked is that I'm really making the effort to play more tabletop games, play more D&D, play more Call of Cthulhu, which is something that I've been wanting to do my entire life and just could never get a group together. Well, now I've got, a couple that are going, so I'm really thankful of that. But even then, like for my D&D game, we're using Roll20, which I think is a fantastic tool whenever it works. When it's working, it's fantastic. It does the rolls for you. It's very easy. Not easy to use, but it's very, it's very effective. What it's supposed to do, when it's supposed to do it, it works great. When it's not working, or you're trying to figure out how to get something to work, it gets really frustrating. Where you're spending, 10 to 15 to however many minutes trying to figure out how to get something working on Roll20, and you're just like, oh my god, we could have just done this with like paper and pencil and dice, which I know that we all have. That's been really frustrating. Like I kind of don't like Roll20 because of that. So yeah, I don't want to be as dependent and as reliant on technology going forward, and hopefully, that's my hope. That's something I definitely want to work on whenever, if ever, things ever go back to normal, or we find a new normal, whatever that's going to be, is that I don't want to be more as reliant on technology as I used to be. I don't want to spend as much time inside as I used to. I want to spend more time outside. I don't want to deal with assholes on a daily basis like I used to do. All of these things, they really make me appreciate some of the simpler things of just, having face-to-face conversations with people when they're right there. It still doesn't make me want to talk on the phone. That's something that's just, I'm never going to want to do. I hate talking on the phone. I'm either text me or talk to me face-to-face. Don't call me on the phone. That is one technology I don't want, is phone calls. But yeah, it's made me really appreciate some of the simpler things of face-to-face conversations, or, sitting down at a table with your friends and playing Dungeons & Dragons or Call of Cthulhu, and just kind of enjoying the simple things and not having to deal with assholes. That's a big one. That was the UPS truck. That's a big one, just not having to deal with assholes on such a day-to-day basis. So those are really just a few of the things that those are a few of the upsides of this quarantine. As I said, there are so many things going on that aren't okay with what is going on with this quarantine and what is going on with COVID, that really suck. And I know that I am really lucky and really privileged in my position that I can sit here and make a video and talk about some of the better things that I've experienced with this quarantine, because I know there's so many other people who don't get to do that. And, I do want to make sure to, tell you that, if you're also in a similar position where, yes, we're stuck in quarantine, but you can do more. Reach out to fundraisers and, other services that are really working hard to help people during this quarantine. If you order food, if you go to a drive-thru, if you order food, leave a tip. Leave a really good tip. Tip 25%, tip 30%. If you can do it, tip 50%. Because the people that you're going to that are, giving you your food, giving you your coffee, they're there to help you because you need your coffee in quarantine. Well, make sure you appreciate that. Make sure you appreciate them. So tip them well, treat them well. Your Uber Eats driver or Postmates or waiter, make sure you are tipping them and giving them a really good rating. So that's it. That's just a few of the things that I've really found beneficial for this quarantine. Now I'd like to hear some of yours. What are some things that you've actually found that you enjoy about being quarantined, being stuck at home all the time with this quarantine. So let me know in the comments of this video or on any of my social media. And remember, if you want your answer featured in an upcoming video, tell me the game you're playing, what you like about it, what you don't like about it, and your answer will be featured in an upcoming video. If you want to see any of my other videos, you can find them on this YouTube channel, youtube.com/tguillotine, or at my website, treyguillotine.blogspot.com, for any of my videos, or any of my written works, or any of my works for the UNO Driftwood. And you can also check out my work and others' works at the UNO Driftwood at unodriftwood.com. And remember to subscribe and geek out some more. Thanks for watching. Have fun.